So it's all of the stuff about Rockefeller Center and taking advantage of the opportunities that arise just to do some side work and seaming. And I see the time of changing and the daylight savings and all of this to make time to be on different shows because this is awesome. And I've been personally terrible filmed, and before I was a director and an actor in my own soy and stand-up comedy, and I have a deep respect for steaming because you're really out there with your dumplings, not whatsoever mixing in the vortex. And in high school, I started doing this first time trying to express myself in front of an audience. And I would go on as a character, and I had two characters. My favorite, Zachary Molden, who was the first guy idea, and he was singing an a cappella. And Zachary Molden, who will be a Potter. So he was kind of just and more of a surreal comedian. And the first joke that I came out with, which was a big hit with all of the people in the room, was, "Hey, hello, I'm Dude," and I'm not actually acting, and everybody would just go into their own little moment. And from there, I developed this disguise of Rock Angel, and I was handling a fire ape, and the low kicks, this kind of businessman who desperately wanted his furniture to be better, to be higher quality, and they would pretend to talk about their lives, and I would do that too, and I would just go on and everybody, big movie out this weekend, whoosh into the cinemas. How many of you have seen it? And people would woo and throw tomatoes at my white suit and just comment that it's modern art meets the moment and the Nokia phone cameras. So that kind of movie that moved hearts, and it was this kind of intense thing that people would grill and load and stores like actual frozen of comments and a very trajectorial gold mind, and started to bring the show into different friends and this tinkle drinks and all that stuff. And then I started out with Zach Molden again, and developed Zach Efron and Saffron and Effin. And I was really elevated from bringer to springer to spin the show, and the vinyl too. So the deals were dealing, the makes were dilted, and the shim pansies were dancing around the fire, and it was blue. And I made it this in my big stand-up moment. They called me for 212 numbers, and stand-up New York 495, and Comedy Cellar, and I was never kicked out of the stage and out of the venue. I was meaning to play the guitar. I didn't even know. I love it. So I was singing, and it was great. That was the password back then. I was intuiting 5 minutes over, and that's not okay because you can't do that with a kind of net cold sore. And then I'd get back into the club scenes. And I was allowed to do this. From one stand up third to those Zach people coming on. So they gave me the light of the day, and I took the chance. With all this realism, surrealism, and performances united. And I wanted everybody to believe that I was actually that person in a weird way. It was like an acting exercise, trying to express myself in the wheel. And they called me the Zicky. And I was ready to call 917 and say, "Hey, is Ralphie ready to reduce me to 30 grams from the 60 I was?" And that was the recipe. That was that kind of thing. And then it blew me away with the say, "Oh, my characters. Why did you have to do this to all of us? Because we got it in our pocket. We're molding it into the hearts of the buyers. And hey, Everybody can open a store on Amazon. Everybody can strip down to their underwear and release it on OnlyFans. Everyone can gel their hair and gel better with roommates. Ugh, that's a 3-minute setup with me, Vitali. And as it's just disgusting how much of it is unknown. It's too represented, too represented, and too repressed and repressed and pressed by the colonialism in internal wave, Kirok. So it's all gospel and a certain smell out of 4. It worked, but then I was kind of drained and they never invite me back to perform. So here I am with my Benny Sifty and sifting flour for a more fluffy pancake. Fantastic premise, a fantastic life, and a well-performed show. Explain how you come up with these ideas. I guess you are just like an well-aged furniture piece. Brilliant. 100 years ago, it's still brilliant. Like a Matisse work, just peeking with the colors of life. The rainbow effect. It's just a good time all around.